In the build-up to last weekend's Brazilian Grand Prix, we were treated to yet another awkward moment between F1's endearingly enthusiastic gridwalk pundit Martin Brundle and US artist Colson Baker, who for some reason decides to call himself Machine Gun Kelly, and he also decided to display about as little charisma or likability as it is physically possible to do when he chatted to Martin before the race. Predictably, this once again brought up the conversation of celebrities within Formula One and their largely negative influence, with the consortium of investors that we saw join Alpine last month and next weekend's Las Vegas Grand Prix. I thought in this video we should have a think about F1's marketing strategy, what we're likely to see in Vegas and why we're likely to see it, as well as some of the underlying forces that are helping to shape the future of the pinnacle of motorsport. What we are guaranteed at the Las Vegas Grand Prix is 50 laps of a 6.2km circuit that weaves past basically all of the most famous bits of the city. It'll be cold, dark, loud, expensive, and hopefully quite a good race. It's hard to know exactly what to expect from the circuit design yet, but I'm thinking it's somewhere between Baku, Singapore and Jeddah. I've had a go on the game, and while it's much easier to overtake AI bots on 80% difficulty than it is to overtake real race drivers, I would go into Las Vegas cautiously optimistic about what we can look forward to in terms of the on-track action. The story of the circuit so far is one punctuated by construction delays, traffic, under-budgeting and huge hospitality ticket prices. In the run-up to the Grand Prix, prices seem to be falling day by day due to greater elasticity of demand than F1 first expected, and it's the first time that F1 cars will take to the streets of Vegas since 1982. There's still plenty to fight for in the World Championship, and it'll be a weekend full of technical challenges for the teams and drivers. For dedicated fans, between the 5 red lights and the checkered flag, there's a whole load to look forward to in Vegas. But outside of the actual laps of the Grand Prix though, F1 will be doing plenty to keep your eyes glued to the social media feeds and their other programs to show off how cool, popular and stylish Formula One is, to show that maybe if you bought some of the products of their sponsors, maybe you could be cool and stylish too. Next weekend, we'll get the normal self-absorption, ego and corporate fanfare of Formula One, multiplied by the vapid celebrity culture of the USA, and further multiplied by everything that Las Vegas itself stands for. And I think that's really where the hedonism, hyperbole and hesitation around this whole event comes from. Hundreds of people flying into town on private jets to tell us how important climate change is in a mega church of pure indulgence and intoxication, a big party and some splitting headaches on the day after the race. The only thing that F1 is really focused on delivering is value to its shareholders, those of Liberty Media's F1 stock, the boards of the teams, the sponsors of the teams, all the secondary businesses and the economies of its host cities. There is of course an incentive behind that to cater to the fans. Eyes on logos are what runs the sport, and those eyes belong to the fans. You need a passionate and engaged audience to keep the checks coming in. But what I think we end up with here, and what I think is the issue for some fans, is that in theory and probably in practice, a Formula One Grand Prix that weaves through one of the busiest, craziest and most popular tourist destinations in the world is one that out of pure greed will beat every dead horse and wring out every opportunity to promote and show off, to the potential detriment of its core values, core audience and overall image. What we'll have to suffer through for most of the broadcast throughout the weekend will probably be cringeworthy interviews with people either paid to be there or simply more focused on being seen than actually seeing any racing. In another way though, that same desire for wealth and growth that feeds the greed of Formula One, the ambition to beyond all else grow social media numbers, share prices, and the bonus packages of those in leadership positions, that ambition for never-ending year-on-year growth in all areas can also be the fuel for articles that say things like the top 10 problems with celebrities, or 10 worst celebrities in Formula One, or the 10 things that F1 organisers don't want you to know about the Las Vegas Grand Prix, right? In other words, imagine a video like this, or a news piece or an opinion column that's being written about the celebrity worship in Formula One and its downfalls. Well, whoever wrote that piece still wants to get their work seen. They want it to get the most amount of views to make the most amount of money. So to some extent there's kind of a hypocrisy. It's searching for fame through criticising fame. I think we saw a very similar thing in the NFL last month with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, with the NFL milking that situation for every millisecond of screen time it was worth, to the extent that fans were begging the broadcasters to just focus on the football. But then on some level, those who were most outspoken against the over-glamorization of it all were not doing it for any grand moral reason, but just to take the attention away from the celebrities and still away from the football, but for it to be on them rather than the celebrities in the news. So without being too fatalistic or getting too meta, if all these forces are unavoidable parts of the sport, and if you can read a room it seems like they definitely are, it's up to us then, as dedicated core fans of Formula One, to still get out of it what we enjoy most. And the Las Vegas Grand Prix, even when entirely removed from the facade and farce, it's still set up to be a cool event. The people that dedicate their lives to the sport will still be there, the drivers and the engineering masterpieces that they control will all still be on track, right at the heart of Formula 1. They'll just be hidden under many translucent layers of marketing and advertising. Maybe this is a good way to round out the video. What if F1, rather than embracing the celebrity-worshipping side of the US media, embraced the real motorsport culture that the country has, the one that Andretti represents? Born in the southeast of the US and in Detroit and Indianapolis, but one of families and humble beginnings devoid of ego. Doing that could be a step in the right direction for Formula 1 and a step to building a long-term fan base that is focused on the racing. For now though, it looks like a bit of a gamble, and maybe the Grand Prix will be full of fear and loathing in Las Vegas. So let me know what you think about all of this. Am I a hypocrite guilty of criticising fame for my own game like I accused others of earlier, and is there kind of an absurdism and futility to all of this? I'm not sure. But as always, thank you very much for watching. Check out the Crash.net website for coverage across the motorsport world, and subscribe here for more from me and the Crash F1 team.